If you think winters in your city are unbearable, you have never experienced Oymyakon, a tiny Siberian village in Russia's Yakutia region that proudly carries the title of the coldest inhabited place on Earth. Here, January temperatures average around -58 degrees Fahrenheit or -50 degrees Celsius. Yet despite conditions that sound almost impossible, about 500 people live here year-round. They go to school, work, farm animals, shop at the market, and even raise families in a village where breath freezes in seconds and steel can snap like glass. This is not just survival, it is a lifestyle that has been passed down for generations. Oymyakon lies in the Sakha Republic, also known as Yakutia, a vast and sparsely populated region in northeastern Russia. Covering more land than Argentina, Yakutia is famous for its brutal winters. The name Oymyakon means the place where water never freezes, which sounds ironic at first, but it comes from a nearby hot spring that remains unfrozen even in the harshest winter months. Early settlers saw this as a sign of hope and survival, and the name stuck. In 1933, Soviet meteorologists officially recorded the temperature of -90 degrees Fahrenheit or -67.7 degrees Celsius, making Oymyakon the coldest inhabited place in the northern hemisphere. Scientists believe the real temperature might have dipped even lower, but measuring instruments froze and failed. For decades, Oymyakon competed with the nearby town of Verkhoyansk, which reported a similar record. Both places call themselves the Pole of Cold, and the rivalry continues today. Reaching Oymyakon is not easy. From Yakutsk, the world's coldest major city, visitors must drive several days along the infamous Kolyma Highway, also called the Road of Bones. The road earned its grim name because it was built in the 1930s and 1940s by prisoners of Stalin's labor camps, the Gulag. Thousands of workers perished from exhaustion, starvation, or exposure. With the ground permanently frozen, there was no way to dig proper graves. The bodies of those who died were simply buried beneath the road, becoming part of the foundation. To this day, the Road of Bones is the only route that connects Oymyakon to the outside world. Driving it is dangerous. Vehicles can break down in the middle of nowhere, and in these temperatures, survival depends entirely on the kindness of strangers who might stop to help. For locals, traveling this road is routine, but for outsiders it is both terrifying and unforgettable. The climate of Oymyakon is brutally continental. Winters are long, stretching for up to 9 months, while summers are short but surprisingly warm. Temperatures can climb to 86 degrees Fahrenheit or 30 degrees Celsius in July, creating a surreal contrast. Locals joke that Oymyakon is one of the few places on Earth where you can suffer frostbite in January and a sunburn in July. The soil here is permafrost, frozen to depths of hundreds of feet. This makes farming impossible and construction extremely difficult. Buildings must be placed on wooden or concrete stilts, otherwise the heat from the house would melt the upper layer of permafrost, causing the foundation to shift and collapse. Even natural phenomena behave differently here. Boiling water tossed into the air instantly freezes into a white cloud. Metal becomes so brittle it can shatter. Breath turns into ice crystals that hang in the air like smoke. Living in Oymyakon requires constant adaptation. Since crops cannot grow, the diet relies almost entirely on meat and fish. Reindeer, horse meat, and river fish are staples. A traditional dish is stroganina, thin slices of raw frozen fish eaten like ice-cold sashimi. Local hunters also bring home elk, wild birds, and sometimes bear. With no running water system, families melt snow and ice daily for drinking and cooking. Buckets of frozen river water are kept indoors and chipped away as needed. Indoor plumbing is nearly impossible due to frozen ground. Most toilets are outhouses, and using one at -60 degrees Fahrenheit or -51 degrees Celsius is an unforgettable experience. Vehicles must either remain in heated garages or be left running non-stop for days, even weeks. Locals say that if you turn off the engine in winter, you've killed the car. The constant hum of idling engines is part of the village's soundtrack. There is only one small store, yet it supplies everything from bread and canned food to winter clothing. Deliveries come by truck over the Road of Bones, sometimes delayed for weeks by storms. Nothing is more important than heat. The village survives thanks to a coal-fired power plant that supplies warmth to homes. Every family keeps stacks of coal and firewood. Trucks rumble through the streets, delivering fuel day and night. If the heating plant ever failed, the village would become uninhabitable within hours. In Oymyakon, warmth is not a luxury, it is the thin line between life and death. About 500 people live in Oymyakon today, most of them Yakut, an indigenous people known for their resilience. They are hunters, herders, and farmers who have learned to thrive in conditions that outsiders see as impossible. Children go to school even when temperatures plunge to -58 degrees Fahrenheit or -50 degrees Celsius. Only at -61 degrees Fahrenheit or -52 degrees or below are classes canceled. Imagine walking several miles to school in darkness with the air stinging your skin like needles. For these children, it is routine. The community is tightly knit. Neighbors share resources, help one another repair equipment, and gather for festivals where traditional songs and dances remind them of their culture. Locals often say, "The cold doesn't kill you, loneliness does. That's why we stand together." Animals are vital to life here. Dogs with thick fur guard homes and pull sleds. Cows are kept in wooden barns insulated with hay, often warmed by small stoves. Horses in Yakutia have evolved to survive outdoors even in extreme cold. They dig through snow to reach grass and are a source of meat and milk. Chickens and smaller animals are kept in heated sheds to survive the winter. Without livestock, human life in Oymyakon would be impossible. In 2015, New Zealand photographer Amos Chappell made the long trip to Oymyakon. He described stepping outside at -47 degrees Celsius or -52 degrees wearing only thin pants. It felt like the cold grabbed me by the legs. Even my saliva froze into tiny needles that stabbed my lips. His biggest struggle was not his body, but his camera. Lenses froze, focus rings jammed, and batteries drained within minutes. He often had to keep spare batteries inside his clothes close to his body heat, swapping them every few minutes. Despite the challenges, his photos went viral, giving millions a glimpse of daily life in the coldest place on Earth. Images of people shopping at open-air markets where meat and fish freeze solid, of children playing in thick coats, and homes steaming in the frosty air, all of them shocked audiences worldwide. Today, Oymyakon attracts adventurous tourists. Visitors come to take selfies at the Pole of Cold Monument, where a giant thermometer shows -58 degrees Fahrenheit. They throw boiling water into the air, watch it freeze instantly, and marvel at how locals endure conditions that would paralyze most cities. But the village also carries myths and dangers. For example, many once believed that drinking vodka helps the body stay warm. In reality, alcohol speeds up heat loss, and several visitors who relied on this trick have suffered frostbite or worse. Despite the dangers, Oymyakon remains a bucket list destination for extreme travelers who want to say they've stood in the coldest inhabited place on Earth. Though remote, Oymyakon is not cut off from the modern world. It has cell service, satellite television, and internet access, though connections are slow. Some young people leave for education in Yakutsk or Moscow, but many return, proud of their homeland. Modern conveniences make life slightly easier, but the core of survival remains unchanged: firewood, coal, livestock, and strong community bonds. Oymyakon is more than a dot on the map. It is a living testament to human resilience. Here, in a place where breath freezes mid-air, steel shatters like glass, and cars never sleep, people continue to laugh, work, celebrate, and endure. For outsiders, it may seem unimaginable, But for locals, this is simply home. So the next time you complain about winter at -10 degrees Fahrenheit or -23 degrees Celsius, remember, in Oymyakon, children are walking to school at -60 degrees Fahrenheit, and for them, it's just another ordinary day.